So, got a question.
Yeah, man.
Is it okay to thank God for the unanswered prayers?
Unanswered prayers? Sure, I think so.
Okay.
Because the wait.
In hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think it is true that God's answer is wait. And we've gone through that when, we were waiting for our spouses, or we were waiting for the job. We weren't sure where God was leading us. I mean, look, I've been very honest about the fact that being a pastor was like the last thing I wanted to do. Like the last thing. I went to seminary to be a professor. I wouldn't be leading a church. And so through this winding process of lots of no's and lots of waits, God put me in this position that I ultimately am in. And now it's like, well, I can't imagine really doing anything else because I love this job. And it's even on bad days, it's still the greatest job I could have, right? So I think the non-answer or the wait answer, yeah. I mean, there's a thanks in that. I mean, at least God's listening, right? I mean, thank God.
Yeah, and Garth Brooks was right.
And which country song is that you're referring to?
Unanswered prayers.
Unanswered prayers. There you go. All right. That's right.
Some people will know.
Yes. Some people know.
Maybe it's tougher for, just now in today's society. It's such a now society,
That's
right?
a good point.
I want
good
it
point.
now. Even
That is a good point.
even when my, if my Wi-Fi doesn't open the page in 0.2 seconds,
That's
I'm
true.
like, why is,
Everything
I think
is,
maybe
yeah.
it just is more so my generation, but I think the world as it is now is just now. So if you don't get an answer now,
Right.
I don't think anybody enjoys waiting.
We're not conditioned to wait for anything anymore.
Right.
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's
No.
a good point.
That is a good point because
I would love for my prayer to be answered what I want
Right.
away,
Right.
which almost never happens. But then, but I guess it's nice to get the answer you didn't want right away either, so you're not wasting
Sure.
any more time. But I think waiting is just it's a tough for anybody. And
Yeah, and I think the
society.
key, I think it's great. I think there's a great Michael W. Smith song I love, and one of the lines is that God is working in the waiting. And I'm lousy at waiting. I mean, before iPhones and everything, I was lousy at waiting. And I think you had a great point there because we aren't conditioned, number one, but also we have to remember that while we're waiting for that thing we're praying about, God is still doing the work. I can think of I was open to being a senior pastor, and I had gotten a whole bunch of no's, applied to various places. And then the one yes I got was, the guy had to be at the point where he was ready to retire. And that was when they needed to be looking. And that's where God wanted me to be. But I had to wait while God was working in that guy's life to retire before I could step into his role. So, but I didn't know that sitting there at the time, just waiting for him to show me what he was doing. And I was getting a lot of wait. And I wasn't happy about it. See, just further proof that God's not interested in my happiness.
right.
He's just not. But he is interested in who we are. And because he loves us, he is totally in to who we're becoming and the joy he wants us to live in. But I think that's a great point. Yeah, because we're the microwave McDonald's generations, right?
That is a good point.
Yes. What you working on?
Doing some. Someone has a good point here.
Okay, great.